Assalamu alaikum students. I hope you all are well, safe and healthy at home. Welcome back in this class of Classical and Renaissance Drama. Your course instructor Fazana Khan is here with another topic, which is the Duchess of Malfi and Renaissance women. In today's class, we will talk about how John Webster has presented Renaissance women through the character of Duchess of Malfi. While in today's class, we will talk about this important point. Along with this, I'll tell you a little bit about the text and analysis. So first of all, let me show you the scene 1, Act 1. This is the Act 1, Scene 1, spoken by Bussola to Antonio. He and his brothers are like plum trees that grow crooked over standing pools. They are rich and o'erladen with fruit, but none but crows, pies, and caterpillars feed on them. Actually, these lines spoken by Bussola early in the first act. These are the introduction which is given by Bussola to the audience about the characters of Cardinal and Ferdinand, which are the brothers of Duchess of Malfi. So they also offer significant insight into Bussola's motivation. Although the metaphor Bussola uses for brothers is about trees and fruit, it is clear that these are not life-sustaining. Instead, not only are the trees themselves cropped, but they are surrounded by standing pools and stagnant water. So he tried to explain the corrupt nature of the brothers of Duchess of Malfi, and like people, they don't have anything to give to others other than the money and power, which is specifically available only to those who are comfortable in such corrupt and foul surroundings, what is created by the brothers of Duchess of Malfi. Well, here in Act 1, Scene 1, this is also spoken by Bussola to Cardinal, miserable age, where only the reward of doing well is the doing of it. Actually here, Machiavellian villain Bussola complains to the Cardinal for being neglected to get his reward. Here, actually, Bussola seeks his reward for his service from Cardinal, but Cardinal refused to give his reward to him. Well, this is the way that you can analyze the text, and this will definitely, you will be able to do it when you will understand the text, when you will read the text where you are. Now we will talk about how Duchess of Malfi represents the Renaissance women. Well, when we talk about the women's character, actually the Duchess of Malfi is an unusual central figure for a 17th century tragedy, not only because she is a woman, but also because as a woman she combines virtue with her powerful desire, sexual desire, which we have noticed and observed in the play of Duchess of Malfi. That's why she is the embodiment of the figure of 17th century tragedy. Well, you all are very well aware about the story of the Duchess of Malfi, that she remarries with another person later on in this play. Actually, Duchess of Malfi is in many ways a remarkable indication to the adulterous and tragic heroines found in landmark 19th century novels. However, unlike these later heroines, Webster's Duchess exercises transgressive independent sexual agency in obedience of social conventions, not through disloyalty but through marriage. We can say, which is more accurately, is remarriage. While given the prevailing ideas about female behavior in the 19th century, remarriage in the 17th century was not inevitably a recipe for tragedy. In fact, it was a popular topic for city comedy. Webster's Duchess challenges social and sexual conventions in ways that are not dissimilar to those of comic widows, what lends to It's a true tragedy in Duchess' situation is that, unlike her comic counterparts, who are the widows of merchants and citizens, she is the head of the state in this play. Well, gender and genre of tragedy. Actually, the Duchess of Malfi raises question about the nature and gendering of political authority as well as expectations about tragedy as a genre. The figure of the Duchess combines the roles of tragic protagonist and tragic victim in this play and occupies a dramatic centrality that is conventionally only accorded to male characters such as the great Shakespeare's tragic heroes King Lear, Othello, and Hamlet. However, the critics pointed out the Duchess of Malfi lacked a center and focus for its action because they tended to consider and discuss it with the aspect of other tragedies. But this is arguably not because Duchess fails to command our attention as the mainstay of action. We cannot say that Duchess fails to command our attention as the mainstay of the action. In the context of a culture actually that understood power and virtuous femininity to be mutually exclusive, the Duchess character questions what it means to be great in tragedy. Furthermore, by means of Act 5, which treats the aftermath of her death, we are asked to confront the consequences of the violence. Other point is that patriarchal order and Duchess transgression through remarriage. Actually, the Duchess is a young widow with children who decides she will remarry, right? Although her brothers were against it. So this is profoundly troubling to the patriarchal order in which she lives, and specifically to her brothers, one of whom is a corrupt cardinal and other is twin who believes he is a wolf. So it has been stated in this way in the play, he called fearful, said he was a wolf, only the difference was a wolf's skin was hairy on the outside, his on the inside. Well, she makes her choice of husband quite independently of her male relatives, and she widely determines to keep secret her second marriage or remarriage to her with Antonio. So the Duchess thus transgresses her society's notion of proper female conduct because she has taken the decision of remarriage against the will of her brothers. Secondly, independently she has taken the decision, and her decision of choosing a husband from the inferior class is also a transgression from the society. So these two decisions have been taken by Duchess in the drama, well, which is a transgression against, we can say, the patriarchal order of that particular time in society. Well, another point is attitudes towards female rulers, widows, and sexuality. The Duchess brothers are primary mouthpieces for the misogynist discourse of the era, which held that women are immoral, oversexed, weak-minded, and so on. Such assumptions about female inferiority had faltered in Europe when there had been a veritable rash of female rulers. Mary became the Queen of Scotland. After Bloody Mary, we can say Elizabeth I was also the Queen of England. So in contrast to Mary and Elizabeth, who ascended to English throne only because their half-brother Edward VI had produced no male heir. The system of succession represented in the play places the Duchess in power rather than her brothers. The Duchess has already had a son, right? But when we talk about her second marriage, she did her second marriage for the fulfillment of her desires instead of only for getting heir. Unlike the Virgin Queen Elizabeth, Duchess seeks marital intimacy rather than renouncing it. Her desires are presented as completely natural. The Duchess protests that she is not a statue, but she is a human being. I am Duchess of Malfi still. The Duchess as a complex heroine. Duchess is eventually murdered for her deviance and for her disloyalty of her brothers provides ample evidence of why her marriage was unavoidably covered. But yet, mere disapproval of Duchess as a character has persisted to the point even in the 21st century editors of Webster have criticized her entirely legitimate because they consider it a legitimate matrimonial contract as rash rather than heroic. So Duchess brothers clearly place her in the latter category as a lusty widow instead of virtuous a virgin. So Webster takes on the challenge of representing a woman who is both virtuous and sensual and who embodies the virtues of a sexually fulfilling married life. So Webster has presented a complex heroine. She is still Duchess of Malfi. While I am Duchess of Malfi, still we can say that she is a complex character. Why? Importantly too, the Duchess' motherhood is a key aspect of her character. She expresses touching maternal concern for her offspring at her death. Her clandestine pregnancies provoked rumors, and Bussola tricks the pregnant Duchess into eating apricots which cause her to go into labor, while Bussola is the instrument of her tragedy. After her brave and stoic death, his remorse is evidence of the Duchess' moral strength. Nowhere is his clearer than at her death, when the Duchess insists not on her chastity or on the conventional list of female virtues to which she might rightly lay claim, but on her political status. She just stated, I am Duchess of Malfi still. So in this assertion, the Duchess shows herself to be a more radical figure than her 19th century successor, and we can say that she is a complex heroine presented by John Webster in this play. So it's all about today's lecture in which we have discussed that how John Webster has presented Renaissance women through Duchess of Malfi and how it's radical to that particular woman as compared to the Mary Bloody, as compared to Elizabeth, what she did in this play. It actually depicts her defiance against those women and her disobedience of the culture of the society and conventional norms, but at the same time still she is a complex character. Well, dear students, here I'll wind up the session. I hope all the points are pretty clear in your mind. Well, take care. Allah Hafiz.